So Saturday's session, I said it is all about knowledge, understanding. The teacher is working silently to bring your mind to a contemplative level so that you are all the time in a contemplative mood. So when you are in a contemplate, all the texts are written in a contemplative style, not informative style. All the science books are informative style. So what happens? You are contemplating, and the time comes your intellect realizes that I have lot of impurities in the mind. So first purify the mind, and then we will start the journey. And once your mind is hooked to the purity, the journey seems to be very easy. You see why I say that it is a 360-degree understanding. So when your intellect moves into the contemplative state, and then it is constantly aware, constantly knows what is happening. What I want discovery of the real self, awakening to the real self. What will happen? The purified mind always reminds you, it is an end of suffering, and I will awaken to the permanent peace and happiness. Both are inclusive, both complement each other. End of suffering first, and awakening to the permanent peace and happiness. So, in a contemplative style, your intellect moves to the ultimate cause. And the ultimate cause is the pure consciousness, whether you say it is God, whether you say it is real self or a supreme consciousness. Same thing. So you see, think of it. What I want, yes, no, I have joined the session to find the real self. For what? For what? For what? It's the end of suffering and awakening. Okay, let me start the journey. Who is going to start the journey? I. Who is this I? Is a seeker. So the next question comes, are you capable? Are you ready to treat this path of self discovery? The three questions are important, not two questions are important. Am I capable? And then from where this I get the knowledge? From the text. How I should move to the contemplative style. It is the teacher which helps you. The text will not help you. Texts are very much symbolic. They have lot of metaphors, and which makes it difficult to understand. So you see now the teacher is teaching through the text in a contemplative style so that we become a seeker. The seeker realizes that, oh, these are the impurities of my mind, and I purify the mind. And the journey continues. So now see, just look at it another way to 360-degree understanding. I have already, you might be able to remember when I said 360-degree, I understand the desires, self-fulfillment, the four desires out of which then I find that three desires are outside, one desire is inside, desire for the real self. And then we understand that I have to strike a ultimate harmony in thought, speech, and action while living in this world all the time, all the time. So when you strike that harmony of thought, speech, and action, the world outside does not create any challenges to you for your journey. I was just talking to Stephen, whether you are in Italy or in India, it does not make any difference. It does not make any difference. I feel so much responsible. No, I should be ready 5 minutes before the session. It is, internally there is an urge to express yourself. Now, see that 360-degree understanding. I think I was talking. I'm serving you, you, you as a representative of that real self. So I'm serving the real self through you in different name and the form. That reflection comes to your mind, and you do not have a luxury to miss any session. You may say it outwardly, it is a commitment, but something deeper inside is taking place. You have that level of awareness, which is higher than the mental. So we have already understood when you strike the harmony, and then I raise the question, can awakening take place without striking the harmony? Answer is yes. You have a very higher level of a dispassion. It is possible. Now see that how this 360-degree understanding is the entire journey of Eastern wisdom. So you have three questions. So what I am. So what I am, who I am, or I am the real self. So what is my relationship to the world outside? Now see what is my relationship to the world outside. Now what exactly is the supreme consciousness, or is the pure consciousness different than the world outside and I am? Good. It's a contemplative style. That is how we question cause and effect relationship. And then the master uses the word, it's a difference between ignorance and knowledge. I'm still ignorant about these three facts. Who am I? What is the world? What is the nature of the world? Two questions. And then from where these two have come. now, now see that how the master helps us to move, how our knowledge of the Eastern wisdom helps us to move step by step. So it says, no, you have three bodies. You have physical, you have subtle, you have causal. Now, the secret of understanding the world, secret of understanding the consciousness, secret of understanding lies in the three bodies. So, physical bodies. Physical body, who knows it? Mind through the sense organ. Subtle bodies. Can the mind through the sense organ know the subtle body? Answer is no. So what should I do? I have to find another instrument to know the subtle layer, where that includes the prana, the energy, mind, intellect, memory, and ego. But it must be the effect of some cause. And what is that cause? Cause is the causal body. But if the consciousness is also engaged in the cause and effect, then it means consciousness is ever changing reality. So, what is constantly changing cannot be the real self. So, once we have understood, now you see that how the 360-degree understanding moves. Then the master says, okay, let us break these three bodies into the five koshas, five sheets. You have the outermost layer, the physical sheet, then you have energy sheet, then you have a mental sheet, you have an intellect sheet, and ultimately you experience some kind of a pleasure because of ignorance. And it is because of that ignorance I experienced the pleasure in the past. I experienced the pleasure in buying a new car, in having a new house, or anything where you derive pleasure. Why master says ignorance? Contemplative style. I have to ask myself, if the pasta gives me the happiness, then it should give happiness to everyone. See the way our masters They are par excellent. I normally say they are greater than professors of Harvard and MIT. The way they have contemplated and reflected. Yes, it is very, it's an obvious question that if pasta gives me happiness to me, it means it should also give happiness to you, everyone. But it is not the fact. It is far from the fact. Oh, so that is why we say we are in ignorance. Answer is yes. You see, you can move in a different directions. So I'm just hoping that you all have that contemplative style where your mind drops all the attachments, all the identification with the physical level. Now you see, can I identify with the physical body, which gives me peace and happiness? Answer is no. Can I identify with the energy body? No, it is energy. Energy is also constantly changing. With the mind, no. With the mind, no. With the intellect, no. Yes, intellect can help me. And then, wow, causal Anandamaya Kosha, the bliss sheet. Because of the ignorance, I experience the pleasure in the world of things, people, relationship. See, this is how 360-degree understanding. I'm just offering you a purely pragmatic approach. That this is how we have to study almost each and every step. I have to understand prana, from where the prana has come, from where the matter has come, how the matter and the consciousness so-called seemingly identify themselves. It gives me a sense of pleasure. Then what should I do? So I have to understand five elements. You see that I have to understand five elements. The first reason, I just picked up one aspect of it. First, consciousness. Consciousness forces the prana, and the space is again and superimposition on the consciousness. Now the journey starts. Prana and the space, they mix up. They give you air. Air and the prana mixes. They give you fire. Fire and prana. You see the fire. We need an oxygen. We need an air if we want a fire. So what we said, air plus prana is equal to fire. Fire plus prana is water. The water plus uh, prana is earth. So we have five basic elements. These five basic elements at a physical level, we see the material level, we see the body, we see the mind, we see the intellect, we see the ego, and the consciousness is independent of it. Do you see that I started with the three bodies, then the five layers, and then I picked up the prana, and I picked up the five elements. Oh, does these five elements causes the three states of my consciousness? No, don't say three states of the consciousness. These are the three states of the mind. What are the three states? Waking, dream, and sleep. I am different and independent of these three states because that I continued since the day I am born and until today. I have been undergoing the sleep, waking, and the dream state. Think of it. It is constantly changing. Three states are changing, but that I did not change. So who is that I? You're constantly contemplating, reflecting. No, but I have been using this I. Who is this I? And I'm asking myself, who is this I? So there the master have come up. So say the I that you are using is the false I. You have to move to the real I. They are totally connected. Whether I say I, you don't know whether I refer to the real I or I refer to the false I. Very subtler level. Very subtle level. I say I'm the real self. Saying does not make any difference. Do I really realize it? Do I really experience it? That makes a difference. And there again comes the mind says the impurity is there. So if we remove that impurity, our real self will shine. Just in brief. So you have to constantly think where your mind is stuck. There, Master gives you the principle. Here is the answer. And here you can go deeper. That is why we have so many texts, different expressions, but ultimately goal is the same. So once we have a clarity that I should have a contemplative mindset. It comes through the intellect. And once you have that contemplative mindset, you are constantly aware. You live in a present moment from where this world has come. So once we have that understanding, then the master says, here are the ways. And I have bridged, I have summarized in the 9 steps. You have a Mangalacharan, you have Anubandha Chatushtaya. Mangalacharan means that I set the context. I set the context of the inquiry. Setting the context. And then second is that I have to frame, I have to structure the inquiry. Then we have fourfold practices to purify the mind. Then I have to live active. I'm already living an active life, but I change my attitude inside, and then I start living out. I change my attitude. Attitude inside, action is the same. That is what is known as the karma yoga that purifies the mind. Now, what happens, I have to change the direction of my emotions and the feeling. Emotions and the feeling goes outside with attachment, with obsession, with the craving. So I extract that emotion. I am attached to the pasta, so I am now attached to the consciousness. I am attached to it. So let me have a symbolic image, symbolic expression. So every religion has a symbol, whether it's a Jesus or a Krishna or any, or a teacher. So you redirect your emotions there. That is another step. So once you have completed all these 5 steps, you are fairly settled into meditation all the time. You can say a primary state of meditation. So that primary state of meditation, now from there you start only understanding. The 6th step I told you, it is the Gyan Yoga, where you listen and learn from the teacher, you contemplate, you reflect, and you enter into the state of meditation. And in the 7th step, I told you that you enter into the higher states of meditation. You pass through 7 or 6 stages. I know you have 7 chakras, so you have 7 states of meditation. So they are again, I told you, it is symbolic. And then you start living in joy of consciousness. So we have covered what we have covered the Mangala Charan. Now see again 360 degree. Once your mind is, your intellect understands it and mind is absorbed in this, you will not, I will say, you will not stop this journey because it is constantly changing you. You start living in the state of the calmness and peace with a deeper and deeper understanding. Now see Mangalacharan. Let me pick up the Mangalacharan in a different way. So we have a doubt regarding the validity of a teaching, and there you introduce the Mangalacharan. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham. Now you are introducing to the intellect. You are purifying the mind. We are not forcing the mind to accept it. That is the, we are asking the mind to just move in this direction. So, doubt regarding the validity of the knowledge, doubt regarding the object to be realized, these are the two basic problems of realization. Then we have lot of distraction. And the fourth one is the ignorance, willing power, projection, willing power. So every time we set for this journey, we start with Mangalacharan. Even you don't remember the, so just sit and you start consciously thinking, contemplating. There is one existence, it appears to me. So I'm going to search for that existence which is of the nature of peace and happiness, because I have already understood peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom are not located in any object outside. So that means that I should set the context all the time, from one action to the other. And second, obviously, we are going to understand a bit more about the second step in that stage. What is that? That is structuring the inquiry. I started uh, talking about the same subject, that who am I? Who am I? What is the result if I know who am I? End of suffering and awakening. I should have, my mind is totally focused on this idea, this thought, that if I purify the mind and I continue the journey, so it inspires me, it motivates me. Structuring the inquiry. I have to understand, I have to structure this inquiry in my head, so much so that I live with reference to these three questions all the time. I'm not, no, today I am not getting a coffee, that's why I feel sleepy. Not, not required. I have to contemplate and fight. It is because of the impurity of the mind. It is because I don't have a necessary push from the intellect. It is because I have not understood this with the clarity. So if you do not understand, Master says we have many rituals. Every day you wake up in the morning and before the image you salute, you do namaste. There is an urge inside, but my intellect is still to be start contemplating. So that we say, so this process is known as Anubandha Chatushtaya. You remember the fourfold connection. Now understand the fourfold connection clearly. Understanding the subject matter. Now you see the contemplation. What is the subject matter? What is the result? And who is going to treat the path? Ask you the three questions. What is the subject? Subject matter is the real self or the supreme self. What is the subject matter? So those who are highly emotional and their bent is towards that there is an existence of God, yes, we say the subject matter is God. No issue. In contemplative style, we are very, very flexible in choosing the words. After all, you want to know the ultimate cause, whether it's the real self, it's the consciousness, or it is the God, it does not make any difference. But then what is the result? The result, what is the objective of it? Objective is the end of suffering and awakening to that reality. Who is going to treat the path? I. Am I capable? I ask myself. All the time I ask myself. The more you ask, oh, I forgot today. I forgot saluting. I woke up in the morning and I had a lot of stress and I forgot to remember. So who is that? That in me has to be a qualified student. And how to become a qualified student? That is our third step. But here we are only focusing on the three aspects. Where are the three aspects? Subject matter. What is the subject matter? Is the real self. Can I see the real self so that I can achieve? You see, a lot of questions arise. So if the mind is not moving in a specific direction, it is distracted, then it cannot find the real self. That is why it is taking time. And it comes to the impurity of the mind. I believe you're getting it. So subject matter is the real self, or supreme consciousness, or God, whatever you say, the ultimate cause. We want to know the ultimate cause. And then we will understand whether that ultimate cause is beyond cause and effect, or still it is subjected by cause and effect. Anything which is subjected by cause and effect cannot be the God, cannot be the consciousness, cannot be the real self. The journey is complete. So goal is very big. So the journey is also long. And in that process of the journey, we say, and then we see that I have to become a qualified seeker. Now the three questions are answered. But Master says fourfold connection. I have to connect all the three. So there the teacher connects you to the subject matter, teacher connects you to the result, teacher basically connects you to the text or the knowledge to clarify what is the goal, what is the subject matter, and how to treat this path. So that is why it is known as the fourfold connection. Teacher in the knowledge, subject matter, subject matter by identifying the theme of the self inquiry. It is a self inquiry. You have to understand it. I have not only to understand the real self, but I have to understand the nature of the real self, or you can say the path of awakening. So when you have evolved to that stage, you do not run after those kundalini and other stuff. They all are included here. You do not talk about those, oh, beautiful experiences. I saw the blue sky. You can also see the blue sky with the naked eyes. We question it. And that also helps us to purify the mind. You question everything, but question in line with the masters offers us the knowledge. The second is the purpose. What is the purpose? Have you ever seen that every time you think of something, let me have a cup of tea, the mind instantly thinks there is a motivation, means the result. I know the result. Let me take a bath. Result. Result is simultaneous. But here the result is deviated. Our objective is deviated. So the master says you have to fix the result. Purpose. Purpose is bring an end to the suffering once and for all and awaken to that reality. Who is going to do it? The qualified student, the qualified person who is qualified, who is a seeker. So I have to assess my readiness to the self-inquiry. In the assessment, I recognize how the mind cheats me, how the mind causes the ignorance, how the mind takes me to some other subject. What should we do? That is our third step out of the 9 steps. And then we should understand what we should understand the relationship of these three questions. Understanding the relationship between the subject matter, who am I, the purpose of the self inquiry, and of suffering, and the seeker. Am I capable? Am I ready? Anubandha Chatushtaya. It is known as Anubandha Chatushtaya. So you see, in many texts, it is very openly explained. Anubandha Chatushtaya, fourfold connection. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the first sutra, I think Jerry and Brandish may be aware of that. First sutra is known as Artha Yoga Anushashanam. So now begins the instruction of yoga from A to G. So where is the Anuvan Chatushtaya? In the word Arth. So that very Arth symbolically represents the fourfold connection. So literally we translate, now begins the journey of yoga. Now means what? Now, because you are a seeker, that is why I am beginning. The teacher is saying, now, because you are ready, you are qualified, so I am beginning the journey of yoga. So, in what way you are ready? Fourfold connection. Our great masters have explained that way. Because once this fourfold connection is clear, it provides a clear focus and it avoids distractions. It offers you a direction and a motivation through well-defined purpose. It encourages the personal growth. What is going to happen? So once your mindset is developed like this, it will help you in your personal, professional, and social life. And you said something, oh, you said, okay. He or she might have said because he or she has some problem. Let her or him calm down and then I will talk to her. Is it not the result of the focus? Is it not the result of a well-defined purpose that I have in my life? Subject matter is very clear. I want the ultimate cause. You don't name it, it doesn't make any difference. So one master says you have a waking state, you have a dream state, you have a sleep state, and one master never cared to name it. But you have to express it in the terms of language. So it says Turiya. Turiya means it is a fourth state. No name is given. Why? You cannot name that pure consciousness in the ultimate reality. So how can you say that the entire Eastern wisdom is bit full of rituals and symbol and it is not logical? It is 100% logical. You have become ready now. That is why we are talking of these things. The teacher realizes you're not ready, so okay, we'll deviate. So the subject matter, what is the main theme or subject of this self-inquiry I should keep in my head all the time? While living my material life, yes. And what is the purpose? What is the goal or the purpose of this self-inquiry? Who is a qualified student? Am I ready? And the relationship, I must find out. So you have to create secondary questions, subject matter. So that makes the things clear. When I say the subject matter is the real self, it means I should understand what is the concept and the principle of the real self. I should understand the real self is the nature of the consciousness. So is my body is the nature of the consciousness? Are there any prerequisite knowledge or skills needed to understand the subject matter? You see, 360-degree understanding. How does the chosen subject matter relate to the other aspects of my life? How that real self? If the real self is not there, there's no personal life, no professional life, no social life. Without the consciousness, how can I recognize that I'm rich or poor? I'm married or unmarried? Oh, ultimate cause. See that. So I'm just covering the second aspect, Anubandha Chatushtaya, fourfold connection. And second, the purpose. What are the short term and the long term benefits of achieving the goal of self inquiry? Short term goal, you come down. Yeah, you have peace and calmness in your life. Unnecessarily, your mind is not engaged in reaction and blaming and complaining game. It stops. It simply drops. You don't stop. And how that journey of the self discovery contributes to my overall well being? Yes, it contributes. It helps you excel in personal, professional, social life. So, why we are exploring this? Because mind is engaged in impurity with reference to the personal, professional, and social life. One guy who told me that, I'm very good in meditating. This is my spiritual life. But the moment I enter into the professional life, I enter into a lot of stress. I'm not able to combine the two. Lack of understanding. It is one. It is one. And then the third factor comes, qualified student. It means qualified. So if I'm not a qualified student, should I leave it? You don't get admission in MIT, Harvard, then you should leave it. No. Master says everyone is a seeker. You realize that you are not a qualified student, so you can still continue the journey to become qualified. There is always an entry. There is no exit of this. It doesn't work like any university or college. Oh, I'm not qualified, I feel sleepy during the session. Okay, I will first take care of the sleep challenges. I will raise my awareness by relaxation practice, by pranayama, by breathing. But everyone is a seeker. I have to become a qualified seeker. So when we become a qualified seeker, there's Anubandh fourfold connection. There is a fourfold practices to become a qualified seeker. And this is the second step of the journey. I should be if you are, say, for example, you are clear even for 50%. Clarity in your intellect is 50%. You won't leave the journey until you will not be satisfied in the worldly affairs. You will continue to do it. Your intellect will haunt you when you are sleeping. You will be able to raise your level of awareness. Is this the benefit of this fourfold connection? If you understand it clearly, the answer is yes. You'll be surprised just by answering. Now, once we understand, yes, this is the real self, I'm talking about it. Huh? You see that, your contemplative intellect will say, okay, I have to find the real self. So, can you define the real self? Can you tell me the nature of the real self? Your mind is now inspired. Oh, so there is an inner change. Inner change. Also, if that is me, the real self is of the nature of permanent happiness, it is it is of the nature of the love, but I feel I have a lot of stress and pain in my life. And then your mind naturally goes that, I have pain in the body, not in the real self. You recognize it. Cognition. I told you, cognitive ability. A seeker has a higher level of cognitive ability. You recognize it. You live into that awareness. So we have to contemplate this week. I will pick up the next third step is what is the fourfold practices next week. So you see that again, you have to you will find all the concepts together one after the other. What is the purpose? The purpose is awakening. Now expand this awakening. Awakening means permanent happiness. No, forget about it. Who takes care? Who should do the self inquiry? I get happiness in coffee, in buying a car, having all the sensual pleasure. So a non seeker does not think beyond that. A seeker thinks and contemplates beyond that. And that results into becoming a seeker. Or just I'm giving you a lot of examples. So that is how the master helps through the knowledge already existing, passing on to the student to reach to that state of awakening. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, my friends. Anubandha Chatushtaya maintains focus and it avoids confusion. It provides a meaningful purpose and prevents aimlessness. It develops the necessary qualities in you. Eyes are closed. Listening to this, does your mind help you? Is your mind helping you? Oh, yes, it's helping me. My mind is naturally focused. Place, position, and the posture. I'll continue with and I'll expand this verse again and again, coming from the other text, the great master, Ashtavakra, Yadi Deham Prathak Pratyachati Vishramyatishtasi, Adhunaiv Sukhi Shanta Bandha Mukto Bhavishyasi. If you separate your body, allow the mind to rest within, you are in peace and happiness here and now, and you continue, you reach to the state of awakening. Now, in this verse, all what I discussed today is hidden. So just reflect on it, or if separated, body is separated from the mind. Is it separate already? Or I find it is joined. If it is joined, how can you separate it? If it is joined by the existence, how can you separate it? So you see the contemplation. So when I see I need to separate, means it is already separate. They are two different entities, but the mind is saying, I feel it is one. So I cannot physically separate. I can only separate through the knowledge, and that knowledge is the self inquiry. And then you see, we introduce the mind a very simple way where no effort is required. We say, look at the neck joint. Okay, I'm looking. Awareness is there. Very good. So, so who is looking, just for the sake of understanding, who is looking, you say it is a knower or a seer. And neck joint is the seen, the object. No, the way you say that I see this and I see that. So when I say I see, they both become the seer. So I see the table. Table is different. Is the seer different, separate from the seen? Our master have look at the beauty of uh, our master's teaching. They say the seer, the real seer, is always separate from the seen. It cannot mix up. Now we got the answer. Cause and effect. See that. So we are holding up to only this level, that even when the mind is the seer, it cannot become the seen. The mind is aware of the neck joint. It experiences sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So that experience is also seen. It is different from the seer. You've already separated. No, but I don't experience that state because of the impurity of the mind. And that is why we repeat it. So look at the shoulder blades, shoulder joints. Yes, I feel. So when I say I feel it, you are a feeler. Feeler is the seer. And shoulder joints are different. You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Here, on Saturday's journey, it is emphasis is more on understanding. Understanding, cognitive ability. Cognitive ability, awareness. It is not on doing. Are you doing anything? No, I'm listening to you. Listening is doing. No, your ears are open. The words are going inside, strikes your ears, and you have an understanding inside. You're not a doer. Looking at the entire body, looking. That looker is the seer. So you have to contemplate, and you just remind that looker is the seer, and seer is always different, separate from the seen. Always. What is this? This is the principle. Check it. Oh, so I am the seer. That mind is the seer at at this moment, and it is separate from the body. So is it always separate from the body? Yes. But why do I feel that it is one? Whatever is experienced taking place in the mind, I start jumping onto the body. I have an extreme headache. I cannot attend the session. Experience in the mind is also separate from the mind that is the seer. happening in the body. Okay, body is separate. It is not intellectual uh, understanding, but if you have a clarity of intellectual understanding, it becomes your experience. The way your house is separate from you, you see the same way the body is separate from you. The way your phone is separate from you, even though it is my phone, you see it so clearly that your body is separate from you. And it demands constant contemplation, constant self inquiry. When I covered another aspect last time, uh, that when you look at, say, for example, the shoulder joints, the mind has changed the direction from outside to inside. From the word, instead of word outside, it is going in, entering into the word inside. Are you aware the changing of the direction of the mind? Very subtle. And what a beautiful principle our master says, when you change the direction of the mind, you also change the state of the mind, because you change the direction of the mind from outside looking at the shoulder joint. There is all naturally sensation, comfort, and steadiness is there. It is already there. You see, I convert that into a metaphor. There is a storm, windstorm outside. What do? You rush inside, close the door, you sit in your living room. Do you create first calmness and peace and then you sit? It's already there. So from there, whenever you are in anxiety, duality, in a conflict, leave everything, change the direction of the mind. You separate your body from the mind. You allow the mind to rest. Regular contemplation and reflection, the time comes, it's a matter of an instant constant contemplation and reflection. Now, see, if I say only sensation, comfort, and steadiness, your intellect reminds you of changing the direction of the mind. It reminds you that I'm definitely separate from the body because I see the body. So, body is seen, and I'm the seer. Oh, then we go to the sensation. Does the matter experience any sensation? Is life, it is prana. Sensation, the plants. We talk about it. And sensation is because of the consciousness, it's a manifestation of the consciousness. As the consciousness is behind that sensation, yes. Behind that comfort, yes. Behind that steadiness, yes. And that we need to explore. So you put the mind to explore this. That comfort is in the body, not off the body. It is always there. Always there. I don't feel so. The mind, due to the impurity, wails. because that mind is already seeking that comfort outside. Mind does not pay any attention. It does not want to go inside. And the steadiness in the body, not of the body, it is like the space is everywhere. Everywhere means it is inside my body and outside also. It is permeating, pervasive. It is all pervasive. When I say stillness in the body, it is all pervasive. It is not the stillness of the body. Now we jump to the very higher principle, or you can say it can take you to the higher level of awareness, and meditation takes place. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Is there anything left from a very casual reference to the steadiness or stillness in the body, not the stillness of the body? Your mind jumps into the higher awareness. Why? Before that, the mind was looking for that comfort and that steadiness of the body. Anything that disturbs you is seen. Whatever is seen is different from you. Can you hold on the mind to this principle with this cognition and still you can be there? Seer and seen are different. You can be there. Ah, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So you are also, we are listening three times Shanti. One Shanti is for the unknown source yet to be known. Unknown means it can not be known. It cannot, yes, it can be known. Second Shanti is for the known. I know the body, mind, intellect, and I can separate it. And third is the peace. That third piece is already me and my nature. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The practice was good. It's like that when mind is talking uh, and when the mind is silent, it's always be in peace when it is silent. It's only because of the talking it deviates that it forgets that it can be always at peace.
Yes, it's a beautiful point. So we have to explain it. So, yes, you have already experienced. So, why mind is talking? Mind always talks with reference to the objects, person, people, relationship to the world. So, mind is silence means now it is not talking with any reference. Why it is not talking? Because it is not attached. You see the 360-degree understanding. That is the reason. Oh, I have a lot of stress. That's why you are crazy. So, how are you, Stephen?
Thank you, sir. Great. I always enjoy Saturdays. There's so much in the Saturday lesson. Sorry, in the Saturday lesson that I've been working on connecting the dots of everything that we've learned, and I always find it interesting as if you like I said, it seems as if you're always with me because I'm taking all the lessons that we have and now trying to weave them together, and you were doing that again in Saturday's lesson. I look forward to listening to this again because most of the lesson I was trying to pull together what we learned this week and connect it to what you're talking about today. And so there's more work to be done. When we closed our eyes, it was just complete silence, and the mind just shut down. And I kind of took it away as Vaipad was talking is that, making my mind more so an observer rather than all the noise it makes.
Yeah,
And there might be something there to that. So I need more time to contemplate and reflect.
yes, please do it, contemplate and reflect. The mind needs to be an observer, then observed. Observed is what the world we see, we experience. So when I become a perceiver, feeler, and the thinker, thought is different from me, feeling is different from me, the perception is different from me, but we don't see it as different. But one thing it comes to my mind, so through regular contemplation and reflection, we reach to a point where now the mind has acquired that quality. It has acquired a new level of awareness. And that is not going to put you in any form of an anxiety duality. It may come because of the past impression, but you will remember why the heck you're there. So that comes after long contemplation and reflection, where the practice is not required. How are you, Brandy? And then I'll go to
Good, thank you. My meditation was really deep and relaxing, and I think to IPOP's point, it's because I finally got the mind to stop running out, right? To come in, settle in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another way. You have to contemplate and reflect. It is a journey of the self inquiry. less of the practice on Saturday's session. So we are picking up the fundamental principles, we are bringing them down to our mind so that the mind is settled. The more we do it, the better it is. Why? So that you can pass on this knowledge. How you can pass in this knowledge? But just by living into it. Living into it. For example, your dad comes to your house, no, for anyone, any relation comes to your house and your mind says, this guy is crazy, I don't want to talk. And suddenly you have a cognition of the self-inquiry. Oh, what the heck, mind? Why you are entering into such kind of duality? Welcome. What happened? Your behavior has changed. You have passed on this wisdom. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Lesson was great. Um, what is changing cannot be the real self. Is the
Yeah.
big takeaway for me. And when we went into the meditation, you're focusing on the neck joint, and I'm like, well, the neck joint is not my real self. And from that moment on, it was just kind of this freedom bliss for the rest of the meditation.
Yes, you pick up anything in the world, that word is seen. And what is seen, I am not. Whether it's a neck joint or toe or any part of the body or any object in the world. Yes, yes, it can happen there. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, the mind is fueled and inspired by the knowledge. And so the knower, the seer, sees the rise in awareness.
Yeah.
And it's those crisis kind of opportunities on the outside that let us test it to see if we still see it.
Yes. Knower, whether you say knower, seer, or observer. Again, it demands more understanding, but at the face of it, we have to understand when the eyes are the knower, it is separate from the object it sees. That is cognitive ability. I see, I love you, honey. I don't say that I and you are one. It cannot be one at the level of perception of the sense organ. Just an example. Beautiful. So even if we hold on to that state of the knower observer, it changes. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. I was contemplating that the role of intellect is to remind, to inquire, and to contemplate.
Yes.
To remind that my goal is actually the subject matter is to reach the awakening and to know the real self. To remind that the result will be the cessation of suffering. To remind that I'm different from every experience that I have, and to inquire whether the mind is going towards the goal or somewhere else. Is everything in place and ready in the mind to walk that path towards the goal, which basically means that whether the mind is qualified or not.
Yes.
To inquire whether the beliefs, assumptions, and concepts of the mind or in the mind are true or false, and to contemplate and prove logically to the mind how and where these concepts are false.
Beautiful. In fact, you summarized in your own way when you use the word remind, the seventh of the eightfold noble path of Buddhism. Ana Buddha steps of eightfold noble path. The seventh path is known as Samyak Smriti. Samyak Smriti means self-remembering. So modern world knows it is a mindfulness practice. Buddha says it is self-remembering. So I remind myself, but why I have to remind myself? Because I forget. But why I have to forget? Because of the impurity in the mind. But why I forget? What is this forgetfulness? Because I am looking peace and happiness outside. I identify myself. That identification is attachment, ignorance. So now you see the whole circle is complete. Now the mind, even if the mind still runs after the pleasure outside, it gets upset. Then it has lot of deep impressions inside, and that needs to be removed. How are you, Terry?
Good. Yes, forgetting and reminding are the main idea that knowing, forgetting, and reminding is the whole
Yes.
thing to me.
Not reminding that I am the body, reminding that I am the real self. We
Yes,
can remind so many crazy stuff.
we can know, and then like you said, how can we forget so quickly?
How do we forget? That is what I answered. We forget. Still we forget. My intellect says, no, I have not to forget, but still I forget.
Yeah.
Still I forget. And that forgetfulness is a fundamental ignorance. Again, there are a couple of things we need to understand. Ashok, how are you?
Sir, namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Good, I am good, peace and calm.
Peace and calm. Very good.
Sir.
Keep on listening. And we will
Thank you,
meet
sir.
again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Namaste.
Everyone.